as I make my way. The fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to wait. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Get your life together.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side.
Oh, you didn't know? You have to call somebody.
Oh, yeah, you damn right. Hustler and Bogard back with fantasy news today. And we got a little bit of news to break down. But we are 50 days away from the start of the NFL season. 50. And all I got to say is,
Are you ready?
oh, yeah, and that's not good enough.
I said,
Are you ready?
And we are waging war. We got war. We got battles. We got the fantasy war that's about to happen. And all I got to say is if you are down with the Hustler and Bogard, we got 2 words for you. Suck it.
Yeah.
A lot of crotch chops are going to be happening this year. We're going to tell everyone what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. What up, Antonio?
What up, birthday twin?
Yeah, and Chase said hump day. Let's get it going. Shout out to everyone up in the chat. And first thing we got to talk about, while we talk about a little Jimmy G news, since it's real nice and fresh right now.
Hey, I just got the phone call. Jimmy's ready to go. You know what I mean? And I know Hustler. I had to cut Hustler off before he went first because I know the angle he's going to try to take. But Jimmy's ready to go, and he's ready to go in a trade. That's what I mean. He's throwing. He already passed the physical, and they got the word. They can go ahead and explore the options for trades. What's funny about that is it wasn't like they couldn't. It wasn't that they didn't have permission. Is that they couldn't because he had to pass the physical first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no one's gonna trade for someone if they can't pass the physical.
I know some dumbasses.
Yeah, the Nets signing Kevin Durant, right? That's maybe one of those.
I mean, the Browns, although Watson's a clean bill of health, you know what I mean? His situation's rather injured.
Definitely dirty right there. What up, Francisco? And I've been talking about this since literally the day that Baker Mayfield got traded away with all the Watson news is that makes sense. Jimmy G going to the Browns. Browns got $48 million in cap space right now, so they can afford him. Obviously, it means that Watson probably won't be playing for the year. I mean, that's what I would assume. That's the only reason they're going after him. They would be going after Jimmy, but we're going to find out real soon. And because it's everyone who thinks that Jimmy is going to go to Seattle. Like, I just want whatever you're smoking because, like, that shit is never going to fucking happen.
I mean, we would have to cut him.
Yeah.
And then if we cut him, who's to say he'll want to go there?
Right.
What if, like, Jimmy doesn't want, I mean, this is one thing about Jimmy that bothers me is that I feel like Jimmy always has bad bitches to fuck in the celebratory fashion, whether he needs to celebrate or not. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's okay.
He doesn't panic. He doesn't panic. He's cool under pressure.
Yeah, like he's like, it's all right. I still got 12 bitches after this. You know what I mean? Like, he's not tripping. When it's like, I want that burning fire and desire. I don't know if Lance has that, but I'm willing to take that chance. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag take a chance on Lance. But my point is with Jimmy is like, what if he's okay with not being a starter? He could stay with us, or he could, go to New England, like where they love him over there. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. I mean, Brady won't allow him to go to Tampa. I don't give a fuck when nobody says that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for all we know, I mean, shit, he could be like, hey, I'll be a backup somewhere for a year, wait for more opportunities to come up. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't exactly fighting for this Niner job. You know what I mean?
I mean, he never had
too cool.
He never had to fight for it. When he came over, it was given to him. And
well, I'm talking about like now that like he said his goodbyes. Remember before they announced he had to get a surgery, he was like, "Yeah, I enjoyed my time here. Things happen," and he basically said his goodbye. He went like, I wanted to stay here, but he said none of that. He was like, "All right, then y'all, I got 12 bitches waiting." You know what I mean?
You know what that's called? It's called the takeaway move right there. It's like, I'm not even going to give you the chance to kick me out the door. I'm just going to say peace out because I'm still under contract with you idiots. And we'll figure this out one way or another, I guess. And Fantasy Rock Guy in the house. What up? And that Get Right Fantasy Network. Yeah. And Ignorant Thinkers in the house. Ignorant Thinkers podcast. What up?
You know what I mean? Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the Jimmy thing, it's never going to stop until.
What have you always said? What's your Jimmy saying?
It's you're right or I'm right. It's basically you're right that he stays. I'm not gonna say you're right that he's a starter, but you're right that he stays. And in my version of you being right, he makes him the backup.
No, I know, but what did you always say last year about Jimmy?
Oh, listen. If Jimmy don't get hurt, Jimmy don't play bad, Jimmy don't lose job. You know
the other one. And how about the other one?
We win ugly with handsome Jimmy.
And it's about to get ugly because that's how Jimmy likes it. It's about to stay ugly over there.
It's going to be really ugly, man.
He's not going to make it easy.
Here's one thing: that line, it's losing Tomlinson on that left side, like these are some real issues. You know what I mean? Getting the ball out quick is something Jimmy can do. You know what I mean? He got that, that inside elbow torque. You know what I mean? Like that he ripped that off from Brady. You got to get that ball out real fast. And Lance
that's one thing. Hold on, just right there. Because that's one thing that you can never take from anybody. It doesn't matter. You can never take the knowledge that you learn away from the person.
I mean, look at Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady. Those two specifically, they were always at the top of the league and quickest release. You know what I mean? Because they never played behind the best offensive lines. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're aware of that. So that was part of the game plan. You know what I mean? Even Phillip Rivers went over to Indy for that last year, and they had one of the best lines in the game. And he still was getting the ball out quick. He just couldn't help himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's not taking those hits, man. When you start getting closer to 40, I mean, his kids will come in, jump on his back off the couch and shit. Like just imagine, a big ass defensive lineman, 200-pound brick shit house, just coming hitting you right in the back. Like, ooh.
And everybody wants to kill Phillip Rivers. He's talking a gang of shit that's without no profanity. You know what I mean?
That's the worst, right? Because like you can't. Like everyone wants to talk shit to Phillip, but if you throw a curse word around there, like, hey, a little bit too far there, guy.
Hey, okay. We don't play that Farfignugan around here.
Man, fucking Rivers. He's like, I mean, not in real life because the guy's a douche in real life, but the dad on Seventh Heaven, they're such a church going like family, but they got like 7 kids. Or whatever.
Phil Rivers he's our age too, so he's basically a couple years older than me.
I think he might be like 40 right now. He's like 39 or 40.
Okay, so he's like 3. Yeah, but he's like 3 years older than me, maybe 4 because he might be turning 41. Either way, my point is that motherfucker.
He's turning 41 this year.
Okay, there you go. So he's turning 41, right?
3 years older than you, and how many more kids? 7 more kids than you?
I think he might have 11 kids. 5. I think he got me by 5. That's still.
I know him and Camardi they were going back to back. It was like Camardi, he started getting some fame, and it was like every city he went to that year, racking up these interceptions and slaying, these women down, and so he got all his jumbled up.
He was taking them to the house.
Yeah. Literally.
He was picking them up and taking it to the crib.
Man, the thing that's the craziest about Cromartie, the thing that is just so insane, this dude had a vasectomy and had 3 kids after having a vasectomy.
Hey, listen, man, that is what I call destiny.
Yeah, like those are some strong swimmers right there. I will tell you that much.
I would always watch that kid too. I'd be like, keep an eye on that kid. That kid,
he's destined for greatness.
He's up to something. No, even the other way, in every way. Just keep an eye on him. Take your eyes off that kid.
It's crazy because it's like his first like 8 kids or whatever. Because I swear he has like 14 kids. And it's like his first 8 kids are with like 8 different women. And then like he's got 6 kids with the last one.
See, he found that one. He's like, these are good genes right here.
Yeah.
These right here, these are Cromarties. So those other ones, I just pay for them. He's like I have visitation. No, but look, you got
they had the reality TV show around his whole family. Yeah, it didn't last too long. I mean, it wasn't that entertaining, but
I mean, isn't there hella Cromarties also? Not just like
was like the other one. Yeah, Cromartie. Something Cromartie? That's his cousin or something.
Okay. Yeah, he was the nut. Yeah, he wasn't handling. He probably only had about 1 or 2 kids.
The hyphenated Cromartie. And,
that's right. See?
Yeah, what was it? Something I don't remember what the hell it was, but I remember in one Madden franchise that we drafted, I drafted both of them as my top cornerbacks, and that's when Cromartie was like the shit, on Madden. So I remember that team was squatted up.
Was he always with the Jets?
Who? Cromartie?
Yeah.
No, he started with the Chargers.
Okay, did he finish with the Jets?
I think so.
Okay. I feel like he went to the Jets way longer. Like way later, actually.
I mean, it was at
the Chargers. Like 5 years.
So he's with the Chargers from 2006 to 2009. I guess it wasn't even that long.
Okay,
and then
he only had the 1 contract.
Yeah. And then went to the Jets for 4 years, and then Cardinals for 1, Jets again.
Okay.
And then the Colts.
He went back to the Jets. That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. So he's had 2 stints on the Jets.
Yeah. I remember him revitalizing his little career though, with the Cards though, because like, you know what I mean, it was like him and Pat P.
I mean, that defense was nasty. I mean, that's 2014.
Yeah, they were nasty.
That was a nasty defense.
Young, no, hold on. Chandler Jones wasn't there. Young. See, now let's go down that rabbit hole real quick. Chandler Jones, did he start with the Patriots and then they let him go, or like how did that? I remember he had 2 stints with them. Then he went to I know he was with the Browns too. Like he bounced around everywhere. Then he was with the Cardinals at one point.
I mean, I know he was on the Cardinals, but I swear that was his like his second stint, or like second team, anyways. But yeah, so they had Cromartie, they had Calais Campbell. There was another savage. I mean, they had Larry Fitzgerald, Ted Ginn.
Oh yeah, Teddy Ginn Jr. was there.
Yeah, Lorenzo Alexander was there.
He's kind of a curse, bro. Anytime he's with a team, they go far but don't win the big one. He's one of those. Like he's like the common denominator in all those teams he's been a part of. Like he was part of that Super Bowl Carolina team.
Yeah.
The MVP Cam year.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? He was part of my Niners. I want to say going back, that's 2012, he was part of that team.
Damn.
When we lost to the Ravens.
He just brings the special teams up a little notch.
He was with the Saints when they got screwed.
He was on that team.
Yeah,
that's just funny when the Rams made the Super Bowl because that stupid ass like non-call or whatever.
What was that? Bradley Roby, Colby, Bradley Roby.
Yep.
Blasted that.
Antonio throwing out Revis Island. Man, I mean, that Revis Island was just a different beast, man, because like he was taking on everybody's number 1.
When they brought him back, they're like, "Hey, come back over here. Come back over here. We got Revis too this time." You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're gonna get some action. You're gonna get a lot of shots over there because no one was testing Revis because there was literally like I remember like one of those years where it was like I swear it was only like DJ Moore or someone who had like over 100 yards on him, and like one of them was like a 50-yard like fluky ass play where he like caught it off his leg or like some shit. Like Revis did everything, and it took some crazy ass fluky play for DJ Moore to get some, if I'm remembering correctly.
Hold on, DJ Moore?
No, it couldn't have been DJ Moore. I'm remembering the Panthers though. I don't know why I'm remembering.
It was Steve Smith.
Yeah, there you go.
It had to have been. I mean, because Steve Smith, he used to dog out all the badass corners back then. Remember Talib started with Tampa.
Oh yeah,
and like they had battles, bro.
Oh yeah, it was nasty.
For a long time, they had
Steve
battles.
Smith is dope. Like, man, we need another wide receiver like him in the league. Like someone small who's got like a chip on their shoulder and plays like they're 6'5".
Well, I always said I felt like Tyreek Hill was built like Steve Smith, but like, had skill set of like a goddamn.
I mean, he's faster than Steve Smith, is what.
He's faster, but he reminded me of like Percy. You know what I mean? Like he's built like Steve Smith, and he reminds me of Percy. You know, but he's faster like no other. Like I don't think we've ever seen someone that fast.
Right.
Like video game fast. Like know where it actually translated from the 40 time to.
Yeah, him and CJ 2K are like really like fastest motherfuckers ever to play in the NFL. Because it's like they put on pads and they don't slow down.
I mean, remember John Ross? He was so fast. He beat the record. He has the 40 time record.
Oh shit.
And he didn't wear the Nikes because Nike for hella long had a promotion where if you break CJ2K's thing, they'll buy you an island.
Oh damn.
Yeah, like there'd be islands up like that for sale. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them. I went and looked when we're
right. And so here's John Ross. When did he come in the game? 2017?
Something like that. 2016, 2017.
Shit, bro. But right before it, he changed his shoes from the Nikes to the Adidas, bro, because Nike wasn't showing him no love. Like he was one of them top end prospects. He goes and breaks the shit, bro, and like doesn't get the island.
Man, I know having an island would be nice.
I would have sold that island immediately.
They're not that expensive. These motherfuckers got cars that are worth more than some of these islands.
Oh, so that's all in what you get the island. That motherfucker is like, listen.
Yeah, you get like the $40,000 island or the $30,000 island.
They'll be like, in February, whole thing's underwater. Okay, you come back in June.
You can only visit. Yeah, you can only visit in the summer months when it's winter and it's high tide. You can't even find it.
That thing is gone.
I believe it. And who knows? Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't break it with the Nikes. Maybe the Nikes were just a little bit heavier and slowed him down. A couple tenths of a second or something.
He popped his hamstring running that thing, and then the Bengals draft him in the first round, and he's a bust for like the first like hella years. That hamstring fucked him up forever.
Yeah. What up, Crispy? What up, dude?
What up?
All right, so here's a piece of news just before we get off the 49ers altogether. Everyone's trying to find stories right now because there's literally nothing until like camp actually starts. We got like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before the shit starts getting ramped up. But one of the things out of the 49ers camp, they wanted to make it a point to let everyone know that Jeff Wilson is the primary backup to Elijah Mitchell.
See, here's what I heard is that Elijah Mitchell is the primary back. He's the starter. So, like, just for anybody that has any, they draft Davis Price and they have Sermon and my name is Jeff Wilson and
Trey Sermon.
You know what it is? He can pass pro. Boom. That's it. That's why he's like, if they ever needed to go hurry up, or if they and Jeff Wilson, I love Jeff Wilson because in reality football, I've been at some of those games where it's like the one against Arizona back in 2019. We're in Santa Clara, and
Jeff Wilson is Al Bundy in real life. 4 touchdowns.
Yes, he is.
Touchdowns in one game.
That's him, bro.
Hell yeah, that's his claim to fame. And if I was him, I'd be telling everybody about that every single time. Was it on like Monday night or anything? I can't remember what the game was.
It was a Sunday day game. It was the regular 1 o'clock slot. You know what I mean? West Coast. So it was like
as the story grows, it'll evolve from a Sunday game to Sunday night football to it was Monday night football, 4 touchdowns in one game. And
like this was Jimmy's, where it's like, Jimmy has a handful of these comeback victories on motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Where like
here we go. Here's a good question for you from Chase. How do we feel about Elijah's ADP? So I feel it's a little bit too high, But I
It's
do
not
see
6th round.
come on, man. No, he's going higher than the 6th round in a lot of drafts. But sometimes I was gonna say, but if he does fall to that 6th or 7th round in a super flex, I'm not fully out on it because that means he's got to be going around RB 20 to 25 somewhere within there.
I'm okay with him as like, if like I happen to have him as my 3rd, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Probably the only situation I have him though. You know what I mean? And there's been in some dynasty leagues I have him as my number 2. I don't like it at all. You know what I mean?
Well, see, because there's a big camp on Twitter of these of people thinking that if you're going 0 RB, that he's going to be like one of those solid RB1s that you can get, and wait.
Well, I mean, idiots say a lot of things. You know what I mean? And only during this time of year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They come out the woodwork, like, with their proclamations and shit. And Tim Patrick's is going to be the number 1 receiver in Broncos type of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are smoking some good shit. That's all I know. I mean, I'm smoking some of the best weed around. They're on that other shit, though.
Hold on. I smoke the good, and I get struck with brilliance. You know what I mean? These guys might be smoking some of that Whambo.
Yeah, we know that they're not opening that third eye because if they had a little bit of these mushrooms, they would realize that they'd probably want to slap themselves for saying some of the things they say.
Yeah, or like all you guys that be like yelling in the camera, you know what I mean? Like while you're recording a video by yourself, it's kind of crazy, man. Like if I'm talking like this, the same way I'm talking just like this, exactly this way, when I'm talking to you on the screen. It doesn't seem crazy to me when I see people posting videos and they're like, Michael Gallup, and blah, blah, blah. Who are you yelling at, man? You finally post. And it got like 11 likes. You know what I mean? And you got like, a couple, like 1,000 plus followers. Like, it's probably, you know what I mean? You're probably not that captivating. You know what I mean? And it's okay. You know what I mean? I'm just here to make fun of those guys, I guess. I'm terrible too. But I'm also the most awesome you've ever seen.
You need bad guys like me. And Hess, he said only a few guys you could take when going 0 RB or hero RB. And Mitchell definitely isn't on that list.
Okay, so look at this. Before Fournette really like jumped up, right? Now he gained hell away. I think Fournette, I'd probably rather have Fournette if he falls down that range. In that range, who I'm loving? It's probably Josh Jacobs. Hate to say it, being a Niners, fuck the Raiders, but at the same time, it's like, that it's like I feel safer about him. I'll probably have like him and Elijah's like splitting hairs. And actually him, Elijah, James Conner, all those motherfuckers that in that range, you can make a case against those guys, but those are the guys you're targeting. David Harris.
Here it goes. Because you already said it. Fournette, Conner, Josh Jacobs, Travis Etienne, maybe more at the top, of these tier guys. And then AJ Dillon is right amongst those guys where he's going. So, I mean, it's like, take your pick of the litter, but I mean, like I don't fault anyone. All those guys are kind of like in the same tier for me.
I will say this though, this time last year, I feel better about this area of the draft because last year it was like Chase Edmonds, Myles Gaskin,
right?
It was like, Devin Singletary.
It's all these guys who are like teens to like 24. It's like they're all kind of lumped up in that same little range.
There's a lot of interesting guys here, like the ones we just said, like the Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchells, James Connors. That range is awesome if you're going to go receiver early or just anything else earlier than running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you're going quote unquote hero and you get one big dog running back. I love those guys as 2s and 3s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1s and 2s is a little, but you know what? That must mean you're strong elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like if you go 0 RB, you got to get 3 of those guys who are going to be somewhere like ranked 14 to 30. Like somewhere, you got to get like 3 of those guys, or else you're going to be like just behind the 8 ball.
I love like trying to diagnose who's going to be like, who's going to jump into that top 8, right? From outside of that fucking top 4. Right?
And like, who's gonna do it not because of injury? Like that's another thing too.
Exactly.
There's always gonna be people who sneak in. Like there's gonna be a couple people get hurt in the first couple weeks, and they're ranked high, for the week or whatever, and then they get no points.
Like there's guys I feel that can make that jump, but then the people that yell at the camera and make these proclamations, they're the ones that push up these guys, like Javonte Williams, for example. You know what I mean? Or
I had to push him down because so many people are pushing him up so high.
Yeah, and then when they sign back Melvin Gordon, which we all saw coming, right? Then no one gets they get a little quiet, but no one brings it back a little bit. No, everyone just kind of stands their ground.
I don't think that Javonte and Gordon can sustain RB1s. I don't think they could be Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but I bet Gordon could be a low end RB2 and Javonte could be a high end RB2, to finish the season and for a lot of weeks. But I doubt Javonte has too many RB1 weeks.
I mean, I guess if he gets 70% of it, you know what I mean? And because what did he do with how many carries did he have last year? 130 attempts?
Something more than that, but I know they were damn near identical.
Was it more?
Yeah, they had more. I feel like they both went over 200.
Oh, they might have been both at the 200 marker. You might be right.
It was super close to that. Let me go check.
They had identical numbers. But
very, very close.
Javonte had him in the receptions because Javonte had about 42. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Melvin Gordon can't catch for shit. That's always been something.
And the only reason he even caught balls with Rivers is because Rivers he's always gonna safety valve it.
See, dude, it's fucking crazy. 203 rushes to 203 rushes, literally the exact same amount. Melvin Gordon has 918. Javonte has 903.
Yep.
4 touchdowns for Javonte, 8 touchdowns for Melvin Gordon. I mean, there's gonna be a swing, but man, this is gonna be a 1A, 1B. People are crazy if they don't think that.
You know who I like that no one's talking about a lot is Cam Makers too. Just to go to somebody who I at this time of the year, what I've been noticing is he tends to fall.
He's also, we're literally not even talking about him. He's in that group of guys.
In that group, yeah. But just the offense he's on, I expect him, realistically him to move up.
Their balls.
What the heck?
Yeah, crazy. But I literally forgot him, and he's in that range with all those guys also.
Yep. And then
Melvin Gordon, he's going to be, I really don't like Melvin Gordon. I was high on him so much early because my Charger fandom was coming into play. And he's always starting hot, first 10 games, he's always money in the bank, but he was always fucking getting hurt. I love the value on Melvin Gordon because I don't think he's going to drop that far off. Maybe his touchdowns drop.
Yeah.
But 200 touches for 900 yards. That's totally in the cards. He had, let me see. Better offense. Yeah. 28 receptions.
Even if it ain't 200 attempts on the ground. Because I'd say he'd probably be more 140. I think it comes down that much. Because I think it goes up that much more.
He mixed in, so it was 28 receptions for 213 yards. Yeah, if he loses a handful of attempts and then 100 yards, but he still has a combined over 1,000 yards, and you're drafting him in the 10th round in your fucking league,
I remember when we were doing one of the recaps, Melvin Gordon was one of those interesting cats where it's you would see him go hella late in multiple leagues, you know what I'm saying? And I'm yeah, I have 0 Melvin Gordon. I was kind of hot about that because damn,
I got him in a grip of these. I only have Javonte in 1, but I swear I got Melvin Gordon in 5 of these best balls.
I got Javonte in 1 league. You know what I mean? I got him in the 4th round. Felt really good about that.
Yeah, the only place that I got him in the 4th round as well. And Chase said they're going to do a split like Green Bay for sure.
It was really the 3rd because I was the 12 spot.
So at the 4-1.
It was the 3-12 where I got Javonte. But I remember I took him and Lamb. I took Williams and Lamb, and I remember sitting there thinking which one should I take first so I could be because later on be yeah, I got him in the 4th though. You know what I mean?
See, it needed to be.
Yeah, I like saying I got Lamb in the 4th. You know what I mean? Because Javonte in the 4th round seemed value considering where Javonte's been going. I mean,
it's crazy because I've only got 1 CD and I've only got 1 Javonte, and it took them falling to the 4th for me to get him.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
because people are
Good
overpaying, or I'm just not going to get them where people normally get them.
I'm not taking Javonte over Nick Chubb. I'm not taking Javonte over fucking Joe Mixon. I'm not taking him over Aaron Jones. You know, like that's kind of where the cut like happens, and then I'll take him over the next crop of guys. I'll take him.
I'm okay with being wrong about like if Javonte does finish over all those guys. I'm okay with that. But it's like
if it comes from a Melvin Gordon injury, I'm not wrong, and you're not wrong either. Because that's really the way that he propelled.
That's going to happen. I mean,
but that's the secret to Melvin Gordon.
That's the thing, though. Melvin Gordon. Look at Melvin Gordon last year. He missed time last year too. You know what I mean?
Right, but it wasn't like as significant as it was before. He's getting run into the ground when he's on San Diego.
He's the speller now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the secret.
French legs that comes in, like, you know what I mean?
That's the secret for Melvin Gordon. Remember when he held out those the 10 games or whatever the fuck it was, like the max games? He was so smart because if he plays and gets hurt, then he doesn't get shit. But so then he misses the weeks, he misses the money, but he puts up good tape for those 4 games. Then he gets a good contract.
I mean, he gets a decent bag. He got a decent bag from the Broncos, and then look at them, they brought him back again. You know what I mean? It's still the same. Even this, although this is a new regime, it's still like, I mean,
they brought him back. Like that means something.
Melvin Gordon has had a better career than Todd Gurley. And what's crazy is that Todd Gurley is so polarizing to people because he had the 2 crazy
That's
years.
fucking crazy to even think, because they were 1 and 2, and there was a camp that even thought that Melvin Gordon could go above Todd Gurley because they were both just savages and fucking.
I used to call Melvin Gordon Diet Todd Gurley, and I'd get him later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people, I mean, you had to be a top 3 pick to get Gurley. You know what I mean? Top 2 even. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no one, and it's crazy because like in the NFL draft, what were they, like 3 picks apart, 4 picks apart? But it was like Gurley was so much more polarizing.
I want to say the Rams, they traded up with the Chargers. I think I might be remembering this a little off, but the Chargers trade back, the Rams move up to get.
Do you remember what year that was?
20. So Melvin Gordon was around. He was the year before Todd Gurley, I think.
No, I thought they were the same draft.
Todd Gurley was 2015.
What up, Steven? What up, Titans?
What up? So
I'm going to check this right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And Todd Gurley is dope as fuck, by the way, because when I went to the NFL draft, he was one of the guys who was doing an autograph signing. And we're all waiting in line for him, and he rolls up and he sees my shirt, and I'm like, "What's up, Todd?" And he's like, "What's up, homie?" And then we go in there, and I'm all the way in the back of the line, not anywhere close to the front. And I finally get in there, and I was like, "What's up, Todd?" I was like, "Man, thanks for doing this. This is dope." I was like, "Glad to meet you." And he was like, "Man, dope shirt, homie," and sees the 420 crew shirt on.
He knows he's probably like, "I'm high too."
Yeah, I know that he's done things with dispensaries and stuff. I've seen him
he's got the arthritic knees. He's got the arthritic knees, right? Give him the CBD.
Yeah, he needs it. He's
got the topical. He got his own topical. It's called I am no girly man topical.
I'm no girly man. Yeah, see, I was right. They were both drafted in 2015. Okay. And so Todd is drafted pick 10 and Melvin Gordon's drafted pick 15. So that's what's fucking crazy, is that they're literally 5 picks apart. Number 1 and 2 running backs gone in the fucking NFL draft. But it was like everyone was on Todd Gurley's nuts and everyone hated Melvin Gordon for some reason.
I mean, Melvin Gordon, he comes out that first year is oogle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he really only had like one great year.
He had hella attempts like down there.
Yeah, he was a grinder.
Yeah,
like it was a lot of 3.3 yards, per carry, just like really grinding.
It was a bad line. I mean, that's why Philip Rivers was already getting it out quick by that point too. I mean, that was 2015. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who else did they draft? Oh, it was Keenan Allen.
All right. Well, just since we're talking about these 2 guys, who do you let's do a quick trivia. And Titan said you couldn't find a better hat, Mariah.
Hold on,
all right.
I love this hat.
This is out of Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon, and we're talking career stats here. Who has more career rushing yards?
I'm gonna go Todd Gurley, but like I swear, like Melvin Gordon. No, you know what? I'm gonna go Melvin Gordon. I think Melvin Gordon has better career numbers. That's what I said earlier.
I already buzzed you. Yeah, so Melvin Gordon, he passed
Oh,
it.
you buzzed me? Oh, I missed that. Okay, so I had it right earlier because that was my problem. That's what brought us this whole conversation up. So I was like, I bet you Melvin Gordon has better numbers. He has better career numbers than Gurley because Gurley was.
Well, but these aren't all the numbers. I'm breaking them down just individually.
Yeah.
Just to have some fun with this. So Melvin Gordon last year he passed Todd Gurley in rushing yards, 6144 to 6,082. So literally less than 100. He just passed him this year.
Nice.
Who has got more career rushing touchdowns out of the two?
Damn, I want to say that might even be Melvin Gordon, bro.
Final answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it.
Nope.
Urgh.
53 to 67 for Todd
Wow.
Gurley.
Oh wait, did he have? I mean, shit, those 2 years. What did he have? Like 20 both years or something?
I mean, close to it. I don't think he ever cracked 20, but yeah, he was.
He had like 15-ish, 16-ish.
Yeah, he got like close to 40. You know, somewhere between 35 and 39 in like a 2-year stretch.
Okay, yeah, I fucked that one all the way up. I thought that was a trick one. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I was like, he's probably trying to trick me. I'm gonna go with Gordon.
All right, and Steven said, who has more receptions out of Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon?
Man, I feel like it's a trick one too, but I'm gonna say Todd Gurley because you know what I'm saying that he just caught hella balls. But so did Gordon though.
Yep. Double wrong. It's 243 to 284 for Melvin Gordon.
Wait, Melvin Gordon got him on there?
Melvin Gordon has him on there.
I mean, shit, he was with Phillip Rivers, bro. Phillip Rivers, 25% target market share goes to the running back. And that's his career number right there.
Yep. Okay. This one was very, very close, though.
All these
who has more receiving yards out of the two?
I'm going Gurley. Fuck it. We're going down with the ship.
There we go. He's got 10 more receiving yards than Melvin Gordon right now.
Oh, I would have been mad if I went with Gordon.
So close, but Todd Gurley still edging him out, at least this year. Gordon obviously will pass him.
Dang, that was like 2 tremendous years, right? No, 3. No, yeah, 2, 17 and 18.
Well, I mean, his rookie year was good. The sophomore year fucking sucked.
Year, how many games did he play? 11?
It was year 3 and 4 where he killed it.
Okay.
All right, and then last one. Who has more receiving touchdowns out of the two? Also very close.
Give me yeah, damn, Gordon has some screens that he took all the way to. You know what? Go give me Gurley.
14 to 12 for Melvin Gordon.
Force was telling me.
14 to 12 for Melvin Gordon. So super close. I mean, it took, what's Todd Gurley? He didn't play last year, at all. So
yeah, so Melvin,
most of this stuff, how many receiving TDs did Melvin Gordon have last year?
Well,
Literally, he had 2 receiving touchdowns last year. That's the extra 2 that he has.
If we take out last year.
If we take out last year, Gurley has everything on him.
No. I'm saying, though, if we take out last year as far as games started, like, you know what I mean? Does Gurley have more games started than Melvin Gordon? I feel like Melvin Gordon might have made up for it last year. Like,
so we're only doing games started, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we take out last year for Melvin Gordon, that is 72. And hold on. Let's see how many games started for Gurley. 87. Yeah, so way more than him.
Okay, wait, well, hold on.
72 to 87. I mean, Gordon missed a shit ton.
Gordon missed a lot of time. So just him, so that he needed that year, and he barely still scraping him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because look, in year 1, 12 games started, 2015 for Gordon, 12 games started. 2016, 11. 2017, 16. Literally the only game where he started every single game.
And you know what? That's Sean
12,
McVay.
11, 10, and 16.
His efficiency was really ass if you think about it, but it was like just such phenomenal volume. You know what I mean? on a team that can move the ball. So it's like, you know what I mean? Even if he wasn't 3 yards a carry, it didn't fucking matter. Like,
right. I mean, he's always had a good average. Well, I mean, no, not always. I mean, I'm looking at 3.9. I mean, that's not great, but it's like right at 4.0. You take those 2 years out, he's really only had 2 years where it's 3.8 or less. So, I mean, not horrible. I mean, the last 2 years, 4.6 in 2020, 4.5 last year. I mean, that's really the best thing is like not making him grind like crazy.
Yeah. He and that's the only way I used to love Melvin Gordon, to be honest. He's got volume, you know what I mean? It was like early Buffalo Shady McCoy. Like it was really ugly, but he was getting good volume. And then it really went ugly like fast, like after the first year.
Yeah.
Of Shady there. You know what I mean? Just like that's why I was like, you know, I used to use that as like the comparison. Like, okay, let me see what it's going to be like for Gordon going over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, if we think that there's drama at the RB spot, now let's get to the tight end spot because we know that they took a tight end in the draft, Greg Dulcich, and according to their to one of their coaches, they're saying that it's an open competition between these two. That Greg Dulcich is more of a natural receiver than Albert O is, so they're going to be competing for the starting position. But more importantly, I think they're going to be competing for a lot of receptions. I mean, if Albert O is the better blocker, but Dulcich is a better receiver, maybe they start getting him mixed into where he's running the routes when he's out there. Albert O's, the primary blocker.
And you know, I went through that little Albert O phase where I was just snatching up a lot of Albert O in these startups. You know, in these rookie drafts, I made sure, not in every Albert O team I have, because that shows you how much Albert O I fucking got. But I grabbed a bunch of Dulcich because I was just like, you know what? Just in case. Because it's a new regime. And that's what they did. They went and did is they drafted a tight end. And he was like, and I guess if there was no McBride, he would be the guy. You know what I mean? But there is a Trey McBride.
Yeah.
He's the one that everyone's looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially, I mean, Albert O, I mean, we've seen little flashes of him, but I mean, it's not like he's a great, like an amazing, like receiver or anything, as far as like being a pass catcher. If he's got to be a super phenomenal blocker, but now the way they deploy all these 2 tight end sets, that's just what I don't like about this. Like this
it's that system. They're gonna run that wide zone scheme.
Yeah, and I mean it almost makes me out on Albert O for redraft. I mean, Dynasty is going to be something different, but Dulcich, I doubt he's going to be much in his rookie year, but if he's enough to be a thorn in the side of the numbers for Albert O, that kind of sucks also.
Well, as soon as they got Russ there, I got off the Albert O thing, believe it or not, when I thought about it more, especially now that they have Dulcich, because it's like Russ likes to go outside, you know what I mean? Like in the red zone, he's been shown to find, his tight ends and whatnot, like, you know what I mean? But
Jimmy Graham, though, like, I mean, we're talking one of the best of all time.
Yeah. And he had 10, and he had 10 grabs.
1 year.
1 year, yeah. And it's like, it was like Doug Baldwin and, young Lockett. Like, I think that was like a literal, like, rookie or sophomore Tyler Lockett. So, you know what I mean? There wasn't really much there. No run game to speak of at the time.
Yeah.
This is different. Like, there is too many mouths to feed before I even start thinking about those tight ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anymore, at least, because now you have a guy that could deal. And I mean, I guess in a for DFS purposes, I mean, I'll take flyers on any of those guys at any given week. But I want to wait to see, how it plays out week one. I want to see the snap counts. You know what I mean? I want to see who's running, even training camp.
Yeah.
Who's running what?
We're doing a lot of guessing right now, and we're making a lot of statements, and like it's crazy because week one, like, we're either going to be talking a whole bunch about how we were right, or we're going to be backtracking and telling you how we were wrong and how this is the way that it's looking right now. Like, this is going to be a week-to-week game. That's the most fun thing about fantasy football is, like, as much as we're on it, because we're on it literally every day. So, like, shit changes every single day, and we're on it so much, giving the info to everybody. Just paying attention to our show, this show right here, Fantasy News Today, every day during the season, automatically a step ahead of everybody in your league.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And me and us, we haven't talked about it yet, but we will sooner than later start hitting y'all with with more than one episode a week because we just been keeping it to the one a week on the Wednesdays. And you know, what I mean, so we're gonna figure it out because then because by the time we get to the season, we're gonna be going daily in this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably start maybe somewhere when training camp officially starts. Maybe we'll switch it to 2 days a week because now we're gonna actually have more news to cover. Because that's really what it is. No point to 2 news shows a week when we're like literally covering. You know,
it was really just us smoking when we kept doing like more than one a week.
Yeah,
we're just out here getting lit.
Yeah. All right, here goes some other news. So the Cardinals announced that their all-pro center, Rodney Hudson, will return for the 2022 season after considering retirement. That was one of the things that would have hurt.
Didn't he retire? Oh, no, this is Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah. He's been contemplating retirement until now. Now he says he's coming back. If they lose him, that's an issue. You know, him coming back, at least now they have, all pro center, commanding the troops out there on the line. He goes missing. He doesn't play. That might mess up things for Kyler.
Yeah. I mean, this was year one improving that line too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It was bad when he was there his first year.
He traded for Hudson. You know what I mean? Like he was with the Raiders, and I'm saying, like, point being is that I like when we're getting into year 2 of things. You know what I mean? This is his second year, same scheme. Love continuity. You need continuity for people to make steps forward. And believe it or not, as much as I've shit on Kyler Murray because I've always been big on him, is like the reason I'm big on him is because I feel like we haven't seen his ceiling yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and having a guy like all pro center in the build, I mean, I'm saying, under center.
Yeah, it just helps either way. I mean, the thing about that too, it also helps the defense because defenders are going to be going up against him. And I mean that's just another thing people take for granted. When you got an all pro on either side of the line, that's going to help the other guy on the side of the line because they're practicing against that person all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven said a weekly best ball show so I could trash talk to Bogey. So we are going to have a weekly best ball show. It's going to be just like a quick hitter, maybe 30, 45 minutes. And we're going to shout out
45 minutes of me and Stefan having words.
And we're going to be shouting out the top 10 scoring teams of the tournament for that week. So each week, we're going to be shouting out 10 teams. I think that's going to be fun too, because if you score in the top 10 out of 252 teams, you do deserve to be put on a little pedestal, even if it is for 1 week and that's your 15 seconds of fame.
That is kind of dope. I like that. We're doing that.
It's going to be fun because everyone talks about, I hear all these fantasy analysts like, oh, come join the most interactive league ever. And, and then these guys never do any fucking content around it or anything.
I don't ever join those moist leagues either.
I know, because they're acting like they're moist, but they're really dry as fuck, and that's really what it comes down to. And so that's one thing, if nothing else, I want to make sure that we're doing weekly content around this tournament because this is a tournament that everyone's going to want to come back to. And we're only going to keep opening up more divisions, more slots, because next year we should have like 400, 500 teams in this thing. Gonna be wild.
Hell yeah.
And Steven said Chargers haven't had a great pure RB since the great LT. Hell yeah, man. LT's like my favorite player of all time. Man, just amazing. And Steven said Ryan Matthews always vulture Gordon. Yeah, Ryan Matthews is soft.
What was crazy too is they still ran a 2-back system during that time too. It was like they brought in Gordon, and even when they brought in Gordon, they still had Danny Woodhead there and Ryan Matthews. It was like
that's how they roll.
Yeah,
and it's never really worked that great.
I mean, it was like it was. I remember the last time that one time when you said they went to the playoffs.
2000.
No, you went there. What was that?
2014. So that was like the last time they made the playoffs as the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, I think they had like Ken Wisenhunt. You know what I mean? It was like Ken Wisenhunt was the OC, and then he just it was the Danny Woodhead and Ryan Matthews.
Yep.
Yeah, and then after that, they just whoever.
Keenan Allen was a rookie that year.
Yep. He went down to a season-ending joint that year too. I think it was an ACL or like the lacerated kidney. It was one of them.
No, that was the year that he actually played. His rookie year is why everybody was so hot.
Oh yeah, he was crazy. That's right.
It was year 2 and 3, I believe, where the injuries happened.
Oh, it was the 15 and 16.
Yeah, it was like back to back where, I mean, everyone's on him because of the rookie year and because of all the hype. And then he goes down to a fluky injury, in 2015, and then another fluky injury in 2016. Then he comes back.
Yeah.
In
one was the ACL, the one was like a lacerated kidney.
Yeah.
And then what was crazy is because that lacerated kidney.
Abdominal. I thought it was an abdominal. Some of his abdominal. I think so.
Okay, you know what I was gonna say, because I know there was someone else that had a lacerated kidney. That might have been just Andrew Luck then, because I remember it was just some crazy injuries that year. Motherfuckers were getting like these weird ass joints. But Keenan Allen comes back to 2017 and he's just going ham, bro.
And nope, you were right. It was a lacerated kidney. You're right.
Okay, because that same year, what's his name? He was playing. Luck was playing with that was when he first tore the rotator shit, right? And he was or the labrum or whatever. And he was playing with it, but then he was still playing, bro. Then he gets hit. Things like Buffalo and then lacerated his kidney. Things like he's either Buffalo or the Jets. One of them.
I'm looking at this. Keenan Allen goes down in week 1 of 2016 with the ACL. Damn, that sucks.
Look at this. Then he comes back 17 though. And it was the double Monday nighter. You know what I'm saying? So one game was like the Saints. It was Saints, Minnesota, where you had the Saints with Peterson.
And then like the Chargers, Raiders.
And then Dalvin Cook puts up a 100-yard game as a rookie, you know what I'm saying, in front of him. And then the second game was the Broncos and the Chargers.
Okay.
And they still had Talib, but it was he dogged out Talib on a little out of the slot, like Talib followed him into the slot, and he scores a touchdown. He would catch a touchdown in the red zone, and then Talib's trying to walk away, and then Keenan Allen throws the ball at the back of his head. It's right in the first drive of the game, and they're on each other's faces. You know what I mean? Then he gets a penalty and whatnot. Touchdown still counts, so I was fine with it. Then he caught another one later on Chris Harris Jr. So he was just like, oh shit, Keenan Allen's back, bro. Then he was hella quiet for about 6 weeks. Well, not quiet, but he was decent. He was like a 10-point motherfucker for PPR purposes. Then like week 8 and on, he was the number 2. He was the number 2 guy behind AB. It was just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
He was the value guy that year because he was the guy I was getting in like the 4th. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Hell yeah. And I like where he's going now because outside of the top 12, because there were years where, you had to get him inside the top 12 if you wanted him. And now since he's 29, and that's what's crazy is he probably deserves to be drafted inside the top 12 just because of the potential of what's there. But I'm glad that we don't have to draft him inside the top 12.
Him or Williams.
Yeah.
It's almost like a de facto. Like it's more like if Huss beats me to Keenan Allen, then I'll just try to get Williams later. You know what I mean? That's usually how it happens. You know what I mean? And then at times I'll even I don't mind reaching up for Williams. That's what. But is that weird? I won't reach up for Allen.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to reach up for either one of them. If I'm going to get Allen, he's got to fall at the value. And Steven said Mighty Mouse Darren Sproles was there too. One of the best trio running backs of all time, LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner, Darren Sproles. Like that was one of the best running back trios of all time. That was the trio that should have won the motherfucking Super Bowl. But the damn Chargers were too busy thinking about the Bears in the Super Bowl instead of the Patriots in the divisional round of the playoffs. Fucking idiots.
Oh, is this when they sat?
No. This was everything was at the peak. This is Marty Schottenheimer. This is LT's 31 touchdown year. This is everybody is fucking healthy. This is like they're the number one seed in the NFL.
Rivers ACL year. None of that.
No. This is when they were the number 1 seed in the NFL going into the playoffs. Everybody's healthy. Marty Schottenheimer.
They hosted the Patriots.
They hosted the Patriots.
Wow, how come I don't remember this?
Because it was the worst game ever. That's why. It all starts with the Chargers going for it on 4th and 11 versus kicking a field goal.
No, 2000.
2000, well, yeah, 2006. So 2007 playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then they go on to lose.
It starts off with them not kicking a field goal in their very first drive. 4th and 11. They go for it on 4th and 11 versus kicking the field goal. And obviously the game is won with the field goal at the end, of course. So just high insight. Why don't you take the points? But then just fast forward. There's literally 10 plays. I want to go down the rabbit hole of breaking down this game and talking mad shit about the Chargers because there was 10 individual plays that if you take out any one of them, they win this game. And that was what was so insane. There's even one part, I don't even know exactly where it is. And I swear it's Marvin Harrison. He gets an interception, doesn't go down. If he goes down, the game is over. Strip, they take it back from right there. That's one of them. Another one, I can't even remember what cornerback it is. They stopped Tom Brady on 3rd and long. The cornerback is so hyped that he headbutts the wide receiver who he stopped on the play. Penalty. First down. It's all these, so many little things. I know there's more than that, but those were the two that stuck out to me as you fucked the entire game up with these two little mistakes.
There was a guy I know. He was involved in throwing together some Niners shit where it was the 10 things that the Niners did that could could have avoided a loss in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And it was just and then what's crazy is I still had about 3 or 4 of my own that I could have added on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Boston Strangler, LT deserved to run his mouth to anybody that he could that year. 31 touchdowns in one season. Nobody is ever going to break that ever. There's quarterbacks that don't even throw 30 in a year.
What did he have? He had 27 rushing?
28. So he broke the record because 27 was the record. Sean Alexander. It was Priest Holmes broke it, 26, and then Sean Alexander broke it, 27, and then LT breaks it, bam, with 28, but adds in 3
fantasy legends you just mentioned. All those
legends. And Boston Strangler says, run your mouth after you win something. LT's the most humble guy ever. The only time he was running his mouth was when people were dancing on the Chargers logo after winning the game. That's the only run in the mouth that LT's ever done. Phillip Rivers, on the other hand, that's a different story.
I mean, you could tell LT got some passive aggressive nature to him. That's why he blew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He always stayed in line. That's the thing. I think he regrets not speaking up in some of those times. I bet you there was a bunch of instances in that game where you you know what I mean? What was that? There was another playoffs where
and check this out. So the Boston Strangler said, is that the guy from the Rum Boys?
You talking about me or you?
Yeah, I'm assuming you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we already talked about that. Yeah, we've already declared war on a lot of people, and we said we got 2 words for you.
Oh yeah, listen, bro. If anybody wants smoke, bro, they can get it, man. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying he doesn't want the smoke. He's just, that was just a question. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Boston Strangler. Yes, to answer your question, I used to run with the Rum Boys, but yeah, I don't. Because you know what I'm saying? I fuck with cool people, you know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? Dudes might be cool, but just not to me. You know what I mean? So that's how it went. In a nutshell, that's how it went down.
Yep. All right, I got 2 more.
And Boston Strangler is a hell of a username. I can't lie, especially being from Boston, where a lot of reputation of fans from Boston are racist. You know what I mean? It's you're the racist strangler.
The only strangler that I know is the Lakeshore Strangler.
Hey man, there's the hills. I'm from the Bay. We got the Hillside Strangler.
So you don't know who the Lakeshore Strangler is?
I remember the Lakeshore Strangler.
Who is it?
I don't remember the name. I just remember
Charles Lee Ray.
I always remember the headline's name. The headline name.
Charles Lee Ray.
Oh, no wonder I knew that.
Chucky.
Yeah, that's right. Lakeshore over there in Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So it's contract related what we're talking about, because a lot of teams are missing the deadlines, before they had to get these contracts locked in and or getting close. And so the Detroit Lions, I'm always shitting on TJ Hawkinson, but so they locked him in for the 5th year, guarantee or whatever on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
But now they're saying they're expecting to prioritize his extension, and we should see one soon from him.
Well, good for him. You know what I mean? For doing like absolutely nothing.
What the hell? Boston says
absolutely nothing.
The Boston Strangler says, so racist Boston has an Oriental mayor.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying?
The irony.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Hey, it might be my uncle. Is he Filipino? Might be my uncle. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if they lock in, I mean, obviously they want to. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Hawkinson, he's good for the NFL, but he's overhyped for fantasy. That's always been my beef, about him. I mean, he's decent at blocking. I mean, he's a huge motherfucker. Like, to be a good tight end, you really just got to be huge, be able to block a little bit, and have hands good enough to catch the ball when they throw it to you. He's got all those.
They were like, we don't want no Eric Ebron frying pan having hands motherfucker. You know what I mean?
They've missed on enough of them, like
right.
Yeah,
hey, hold on. I don't know why he took that. Why he took that offensive going back to Boston Strangler. I said he's like the racist strangler. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a superhero. Like, you strangle racists.
Yeah.
He took it all the way to the ass though, and it's all good though. Shout out to you.
And Antonio said the tattletale strangler from SpongeBob. So I never got into SpongeBob. Strangles.
That shit was kind of dark, bro. And that was SpongeBob was dark for that one.
So I've never fucked with SpongeBob like that, but that's crazy that they have a strangler character in there.
Well, look at this. I never fucked with SpongeBob like that. But like when I had my first daughter, you know what I'm saying? And by the time she started like watching Nickelodeon, she had to be at least 5-6 years old. Maybe younger than that.
And Antonio's like 6 years younger than me. So I mean that was the time when I'm sure that everyone was watching.
Yeah, this is like 2010, 11-ish. You know what I'm saying? And SpongeBob's like, SpongeBob's killing the game for over 10 years by this point. Yeah, and so I watched that shit with her, and I was like, oh wow, this shit is hilarious, bro. Like that shit is like, and then you got Patrick, who he's like all the way the food. You know what I mean?
He's the stoner character, right?
Yeah. And then you got Mr. Krabs. He's just hella shady, bro. Mr. Krabs is about his bread. Like,
shady ass restaurant owner.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? And for all we know, he got SpongeBob living. He's probably like, listen, SpongeBob, you work for free.
Man, see, we need to do the comparisons. I mean, like I like Dave Chappelle. How he talks about like Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And it's like, like people stepping over Oscar, get it together, Grouch. And it's like, I'm the poorest motherfucker on Sesame Street.
I live in a trash can, motherfucker. Yeah, of course I'm grouchy.
Yeah, we need to do that with some of these cartoons, like related to because
shit all day, bro.
That's just like it's.
That's all I do is psychologically break down these motherfucking these irregular shit. You know what I mean?
So funny. And the Strangler, he says Amon-Ra will be the meat and potatoes of the Detroit offense. Amon-Ra stock will rise around maybe 2 after Hard Knocks. Yeah, see, that's what I don't want.
Yeah, and like I believe. Listen, man, there's a real. It ain't been.
Everyone is going to be on Amon-Ra's nuts because of Hard Knocks.
It ain't been since DeAndre Hopkins, bro. Where like somebody on Hard Knocks really went crazy for fantasy that year. You know what I mean?
Man, you remember on Hard Knocks that DeAndre broke someone, like he broke his ankles, tore his ACL?
Listen, in my version, he killed him, bro.
He was talking mad shit to him, and he gave him like a 3-piece move at once, and dude tore his ACL out for the season.
He got that real fast. Hey, listen.
Yeah. But you know what? What if? Okay, you remember when the Raiders were on Hard Knocks and Josh Jacobs didn't really want any part of it, where he
wasn't on it at all,
right? Because he didn't want it. Like he didn't sign off on the shit.
Well, I think because he had came out. I mean, like it only been like 3 or 4 years removed from him living in a car. He was like, I don't know fucking cameras on me all the time. Like, you know what I mean?
Because that was the sob story they were going to be talking about the whole time. I bet.
I want to go back to that Amon-Ra St. Brown thing now. Here's my one thing about the Amon-Ra St. Brown is like he's probably the only one outside of Swift, like if that, if I want to look any direction in Detroit. And I still think like we still pay up way too much for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like,
I got him in the 10th round in one of the best balls, and I felt good about it. But that was him falling like crazy because he was going in the
he's going in the 5th, 6th round.
I was gonna say the 5th to the 8th on a regular.
Yeah, I remember Gemmo took all over the place. Hey, Gemmo took him in the 5th, and then he immediately texted me. He's like, "Fuck." He's like, I mean, and he goes, "Man, can I reverse that?" I'm like, "It's been like 20 minutes, bro." Like, the hell no, you can't. You know what I mean? Like,
Strangler said Hawkinson and
lie like it was an accident.
See, the one thing that I do like, so Strangler says Hawkinson and Swift can't stay healthy. I'm hoping that those guys get even more hyped the fuck up because I'm just avoiding those two specifically, you know. And
I won't argue that neither. Because they haven't played full 16, and
none of them, neither one of them.
Neither one of them. And you know what I'm saying? You know, we've seen this has been Hawkinson since 2019. This has been Swift since 2020. And we only have one sample size, a season sample size of St. Brown. So if you could guarantee me that, then word. But I'm not going to pay it for St. Brown. Yeah. I'd rather have Marquise Brown. You know what I mean? Who goes?
I mean, shit. I'd rather have DJ Chark, right? Didn't he go?
I'd rather have DJ Chark maybe way later. But he is coming up later. You mean Jameson Williams?
Well, I mean, but he might start on the pup. Who are the other Lions?
DJ Chark, he tore his shit week 1 last year too. So who knows if his rehab's on schedule? I mean, like it really might be a concentrated target market share between the 3 guys, which would just be like Shark, motherfucking St. Brown, and then Hawkinson. You know
yeah. Because I know right now DJ Chark's number 2, you know, on the depth chart. And the thing is, I mean, there's no way in hell that his rehab is taking longer than Jameson Williams. I mean, we're talking week 1 of the NFL versus the fucking national championship.
Which was January.
Yeah. So like if DJ Chark, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be, you know, the other game in town, like right away. I mean, I think he's going to be ready for week 1, but Camp will tell us.
What do you think is more likely? I'm going to bring this up tonight too on Playmakers because we're taking the wide receiver university tonight on Playmakers, y'all. Be sure to tap in 6:30 p.m. West Coast time. You know what I'm saying? And 9:30 p.m. East Coast time for all the other that couldn't figure that out. But I'm going to pose this question tonight. What's more likely? Elijah Moore has the breakout year, or St. Brown mimics what he did last year at minimum.
So I guess with Elijah Moore, I wouldn't even consider it a breakout year because I feel like he did break out as a rookie.
I mean, I guess he had like a 4 or 5 game stretch where he was startable. So I guess you consider that
and not even startable. Like we're talking wide receiver 1, you know, high-end wide receiver 2 for a couple weeks where him until he got hurt, where he was putting himself on the map. So I do think
I'm still calling it a breakout. He's not being drafted.
For that exact reason, that's why I'll say Elijah Moore with the breakout. Because I feel like he already did it. So if we're saying that he didn't, I feel like it's coming. And it's coming early.
Yeah,
he started getting really good rapport. I don't know if you remember, but I mean, I think he had two touchdown games like back to back, and a couple of those catches were just real nasty. You know, where Wilson's putting them in a place where only he could get it. He goes out to get it, and comes down with it. And that rapport you can't really teach. And I feel like that's what's going to put him ahead of the curve. On the guy like Wilson right off the bat, they already got a little bit of that connection.
And then he had. I mean, he connected. He's like QB proof too that we saw. I mean, I guess you could say this for St. Brown also,
right? Because he went through what 2 or 3
QBs, right? But the one common denominator with all those QBs that he was running through is that he was the main guy. Like everybody else was injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either way, see, this is why I love when the chat gets involved because it is things that will spark certain conversation. Like I'm not jumping up for St. Brown. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
Like, I'm not even going to argue that he's going to break out or blow up or anything. I just probably won't have him. You know what I mean? I'm okay with being wrong about that because
wherever he's being drafted at, whatever peak he's being drafted at. I mean, I don't want him as like wide receiver 15 or like and that could be the peak of where some people draft him, going crazy. I'd much rather have him around wide receiver 24, 25. You're probably feeling like you're playing with house money. He's like your third or fourth receiver, at that point. Like, that's where I want him, to where I'm not banking on him having to be anything.
Yeah. And I tend to end up with more Elijah Moores in that case too, like, because he just goes later. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's what's dope about him. I mean, he got hurt at the end of the year. It's all about what have you done for me lately. So there's a lot of people who really forgot that stretch that he went on.
He caught from, I want to say he caught from Flacco. He caught from Mike White, the great White Hope, White Mike.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And then Wilson, obviously.
Wilson. Yeah.
So yeah, he had to go through 3.
Oh, and John Johnson. Remember John?
Yeah, so he had 4. He had 4 QBs.
John Johnson, what was his name? Josh Johnson?
Josh Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, Josh Johnson. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so he only had 1 2-touchdown game, and that was the one where it kind of like put him on the map where he started. So he had 7 receptions for 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then the next week he has low yardage. This was only 15 points, but 3 receptions, 44 yards, but had the tug. And then the next week after that, that's where he blew the fuck up. 8 receptions, 141 yards, the touchdown. Then he had another off week. What
game was that? Against the Bengals?
That was Miami.
Oh, against Miami. Okay, wow, he tore Miami up.
Yeah, shit all over him. And then then Houston, that was the one where he gets shut down. 4 receptions, 46 yards, no touchdown. And then the week where he got hurt at the end of that week, 6 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. So he in 1, 2, 3, 4 in a 5-week stretch, he had 5 touchdowns to finish the season.
Nice.
I mean, before he gets hurt.
If that's not a breakout, that's I have arrived. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that was week 9 through week 13.
It's hella crazy because I got like a couple of Amon-Ra St. Brown shares, and I've been hella trying to trade them. No one wants them, bro. I'm like, bro, I need motherfuckers like Boston Connor, or what's his name? Boston Strangler. Yeah. Who might even be Boston Connor, one of the guys that from Boston that used to always be in the chat back when I was with the Rum Boys.
Oh, yeah, I mean, probably the same one.
Yeah.
And AJ said, popping in between streams, let's smoke. Hell yeah. Let's smoke up. All right. Yeah. Let's see. And the last piece of news that I got before we get up out of here is Jesse Bates. So they're not able, the Bengals, they're not able to finalize this long-term deal. I mean, because he wants to be the highest paid safety. Like he wants to break that bank. And he's dope. Like, he's not had one bad year in the NFL. He's not had one bad year in fantasy in the DB spots either. He deserves it. And the latest offer they said was close to the 17 mil, which would have made him the 3rd highest behind Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jamal Adams. So he wants to get over 18.5 a year. That would make him the highest paid per year.
He was like, the disrespect. The 3rd?
I'm Jesse Bates the 3rd, but I need the 1st overall money.
Right? That's not sound like, well, you are the 3rd. Fuck that.
No. He's breaking these curses. He's doing the opposite of Will Fuller.
Right? Yeah. Shout out to the entire Jesse Bates family.
So he's 4 seasons in the league. 408 tackles, so averaging over 100 tackles a season, 10 interceptions, so at least 2 per year that he's knocking down, and 3 in a couple of them, and 35 pass deflections, so almost 10 per year that he's clocking there as well.
It's funny because when I couldn't get my hands on any of those, the Derwin Jameses or any of those guys, the Derwin James, Jamal Adams, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Antoine Winfield, those guys, I just get Jesse Bates because you know what I mean. Like,
he's so solid,
right?
Like he's not the guy who's gonna get big ass interceptions to the house. Like if you get that from any player at any time. Either way,
I just want tackles, bro. I want chunky tackles like that. Yeah. I feel like the tackles for IDP is like rush attempts. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you'll get them, but sometimes you might even get one that pushes back for a loss, or like, you know, or hey, you might even get a motherfucking strip or something. You never know, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
the only thing I want to know for sure is that they're gonna get hella tackles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you get you get a solo tackle in these hustler leagues. That's the same as a running back knocking off a 20-yard rush.
Yeah, that's 2 points right there.
Yep. You get one pass deflection. That's a 30-yard rush right there, a 30 yards receiving.
Mm-hmm. Hey, pass deflections are that shit. That's like probably the only. That's probably the only reason why I would even start like a corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ever. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it's like, yeah, there's no reason to start those motherfuckers.
So Boston Strangler says, don't overpay for Mixon this year. So what do you consider overpaying for Mixon? Because really the highest that I've seen him go.
I'm making all these proclamations. I love it. I love it because I want to know what's too high for Mixon.
Yeah, because I've seen him go like 5th, 6th overall, and there was like all running backs that went before him, or maybe like one wide receiver. Single QB league. I mean, super flex maybe is the end of the first, early second guy, depending on how many QBs actually go. But unless it's like QB premium scoring, like I put in, you know, at the 15 yards per point. I mean, a lot of times we don't see a bunch of crazy QBs going in the first round. Maybe 1 or 2 in some of these leagues.
He's a mid-second round guy for me. And like, here's the thing is, man, like you're talking about 300 touches, 300 plus touches. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Normally you get those guys at the motherfucking, you know, top 8. You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm getting them outside of the top 8, it's still value, quote unquote, to me. You know what I mean?
And Strangler said, as the host, a Giants fan. Nope, I'm not a fan of any team anymore since the Chargers left San Diego. I just cheer for the players, and it's all fantasy. And Mixon is going top 12 overall too early. It's a trap. I mean, I guess that's where it gets subjective. I mean, if it's a super flex, I'm taking a QB over Mixon.
So crazy is like, what's the reasoning behind not fucking with Mixon? Let me guess. Is it because injuries? Because otherwise, you're getting a guy who got.
He says the Bengals O line won't be as good this year, but they upgraded their line.
Their O line. They brought over. First of all, they bring over Kappa in free agency, and they brought over buddy from Dallas, bro. What's his name? We covered that.
I gotta go just look up their depth chart.
Yeah,
I can't remember lineman's names off the top of my head.
I'm so high right now. What in the man's name, bro? But listen, they on paper their line's gonna be massively improved. You know,
tremendously improved. 2 out of your 5 spots you're getting upgraded.
3.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, they brought in 3 major components.
So here it is. So they got Alex Kappa. He's the right guard, and then you got how do you say that? Lael Collins. That's the right tackle.
Cowboys.
That's the guy from the Cowboys. Yep. Yeah. And then
he got a massive injury history, but still a massive upgrade because when he's on the field, beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ted Karras. I mean, I just don't know people's names. And then Jackson Carman, and then Jonah Williams, their left tackle.
Mm-hmm. See, yeah. So the other dude they brought in for he was depth. I'm trying to remember his name right now, but he was like, but Jonah Hill. I mean, former first round guy. Like, this is a good line. Look at they played well last year. What wasn't Mixon the top 6? You know what I mean? And I think he missed one game last year. That's the only. I feel like that's the only argument people should have against Mixon is that like he had an injury history, because anytime he actually was on the field, he's producing. You know what I mean? Like, and like I used to make the argument for Mixon years ago when I would extrapolate and pace out his. You know what I mean? He always paced out to 1,400 yards. What did he get last year?
Something like that, right?
Right. There it is. I mean,
I know he's around that somewhere.
You know why I took a shot on Joe Mixon so much last year or going to 2021 season?
Yeah, 1,200 on the ground and 300 receiving.
There you go. So I like
total. And Boston Strangler said, I warned you. I don't play in any I don't really play in a lot of single QB leagues. So a lot of the leagues that I play in, he's not being drafted in the top 12 at all.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, to be honest too, most of the leagues I play in full of savages, so ain't nobody jumping up super high for Joe Mixon. You know what I mean? Or CMC in that matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're and Dalvin Cook, their injury history is already baked into their ADP.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go on, you playing like like home leagues and stuff, people are gonna almost immediately chase last year's production, and those are the leagues where you're gonna see
Joe or who they like, one of the two.
Yeah, like that's where you're gonna see Andrews go over Kelsey, and you're gonna see Joe Mixon go
over Kelsey.
Yeah, and then those same leagues, those are also the leagues where the hype, brings people up. There's going to be a Javonte Williams guy who's going to pull him up in the first round. There's always going to be a Patrick Mahomes in the first round guy too. Like that's why I love home leagues though too, because if you can stay your course, you're going to have the most monster team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes it more fun. And Chase said, what order would you rank these guys? Mixon, Swift, and Jones. So for me, it's Mixon, Swift.
I'm going in that order. I'm not playing like because if I'm going to play like any of these guys are hurt, because all these guys aren't the bill of health. You know what I mean? All three of these guys. But when I'm gonna order them, I'm gonna act like they're going to play majority of the year. I would have it Mixon, Swift, then Jones.
Yeah. And John, shout out to John on Facebook. What up, dude? If you get a chance, hop over to YouTube, 420 Fantasy Hustler. Type that in. And he said Carr's ADP is a steal. Wait on a QB. For sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're playing in a single QB league still, I mean, there's really no reason to pick a QB before like the 10th round. I mean, Brady's fallen as far as he is. Rodgers, Carr, Kirk Cousins. I mean, so many of these guys you can get in the double-digit rounds and then just grab one QB. And you're good. You are good to go.
I love the little fantasyism throw. We're gonna start calling them fantasy throwouts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? They got some fantasy throwouts. We'll debate it. You know what I mean? Like Derek Carr, I like that. If you're talking single QB, you know what I mean. But here's the thing: if I'm waiting in a single QB, I'm getting Brady because nobody goes in for Brady like that. You know what I mean? Unless you're like. Yeah. Unless you have like the guy who has like Brady tatted on him or something, you know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm gonna wait. Everybody's gonna go in.
Titans,
the Mahomeses and the Kyler Murray's and the goddamn Josh Allen's is all of them. Justin Herbert's is Joe Burrow's. All those guys are gonna go off the board in a single QB. I'm just gonna wait and take Brady in like the 10th, 11th round.
And the Strangler says if you're putting your eggs in the car basket, you'll lose. I'm not I'm with
the Strangler on that one.
And I'm going to be on the opposite side because if we're talking about a single QB league, the difference between a Derek Carr and like, I mean, whoever the top 12 is, like, it's crazy because it's like QB 9 or 10 to QB 24. There's not that much difference in between any of those guys.
Touchdown or two.
Yeah,
you know I mean? But listen, Derek Carr, I've never seen. I mean, the last time I saw him in a new system, he went for a career high in passing yards. He went 4,000 the first time in his career, first year with Gruden, right? Then he's been throwing for 4,000 ever since. So I know he's competent to learn new systems. You know what I'm saying? And but Josh McDaniel's system, I feel like they were, you know what I mean, like. I want to see how training camp develops. I want to see what the red zone drills look like. You know what I mean? Like, because right now, if you ask me, I'm just growing bigger and bigger on Josh Jacobs by the day because he is that value, and he's the guy that's already coming off of double-digit touchdowns and is going to be in a Josh McDaniels system that just produced a Damian Harris in New England to have double-digit touchdowns. So that's where I'm at. And if that happens, that's going to hurt Derek Carr. And like I said, I'd rather just, what's the difference on waiting a couple rounds more and getting Derek Carr than, hey, if I'm in the 10th or 11th, I'm going to take Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if that's the case, I'd rather have Prescott then because Prescott is somebody that no one looks at and he's coming off of 37 tugs. Isn't that funny? QB.
What up, Mr. Webb? All right, here's an interesting one. So John says, who's tight end number 5 after the 4 obvious? So, well, my top 5 are a little bit different because I've got Kelsey, Andrews, Pitts, and then Schultz, and then Kittle, and then Waller. So that's the way that I shape it out.
Yeah, I have Kittle against. You know what? I could be with you on there. I could put Kittle 5th and then put Schultz 4th because I can make there's an easier path for me to make for Schultz versus, is Kittle going to be out there blocking more like he was during the few game sample size that we had with Lance under center? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so it is what it is. I mean, I think it's all subjective, really, after the first three.
I
Because
mean,
there's
if you're getting over 100 targets, you want any of these guys,
yeah,
right? And these are all 100 plus target motherfuckers last year.
yeah, and really, it's really the injury is just baked into to Kittle and Waller for me. You know, if both of these guys were staying healthy, you know, over the last 3 years for each of them, I'm sure that Schultz would be right behind them. But I'd rather be on the Schultz train.
People are so they're so mortified by Kittle's injury history. Look at that. They ignore the fact
There's a lot of people that are jaded on him.
94 receptions. And he missed hella time, right? Do I have that right?
Last year?
Yeah. Or is it 94?
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, I think it might have been 94 targets. I remember. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think it was like 73 that he came down with.
You're right.
71, 95 targets, 71 receptions.
Okay. Still, he's okay. If he doesn't miss any time, he's going well over 100 targets in that system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Give me it. You know what? Kittle's number one. Let me take the hat off so I really mean it. Kittle's 5 overall.
Yeah, let's see. Because he still ends up finishing. I mean, he still ends up finishing 4th, you know, last year. Like even missing the time that he does, you know, 910 yards and 6 touchdowns. I mean, if we're talking about him versus TJ Hawkinson, you know, I mean, blows him out of the water.
Right.
Hawkinson did have 7 how many have? No, 4 touchdowns and almost 600 yards, but yeah, missed all that time. But yeah, Schultz, I mean, 104 targets, 78 receptions, 808 yards, 8 touchdowns. Now you take away Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup early in the year. Like, Schultz is going to be one of the big parts of that offense, especially early. He's playing for a contract too. He's going to be playing his ass off out there. He's going to be hungry.
And we love those intangibles.
Oh yeah,
that's where I can. I live for intangibles because that's where I can make my crazy proclamations.
Yeah, and Big BS, and he said, "Is Cup going to regress? If so, how much?" So let me pull up.
Regress.
I mean, he's got to, but just because he's going to regress, it doesn't necessarily mean he won't be the top wide receiver in the league. So here's it. Let me just read out his stat line real quick. 145 receptions, 191 targets, 1947 on the yards, and 16 touchdowns. I think the 16 touchdowns could definitely be in the cards again, at least somewhere in the 14, 15 range. So I don't think there's much regression there.
And like, even if it's 12 tugs, 13 to 1,500 yards receiving, that still could be a ceiling. You know what I mean? The 1,500, because Allen Robinson's a big deal. Fuck anybody that doesn't think A-Rob the Mob ain't true. Let's not forget that, like, he's only had shitty quarterbacks his entire career.
But what's dope about that is you really now, I mean, you're going to pick your poison on double teaming, and it's like teams are going to double team Cup, and then A-Rob's going to burn him, and then they're going to switch over and double team him, and then then Cup's just going to burn him. It's like they're going to keep going ham back and forth.
If he's a 600 pass attempt motherfucker as a floor, which I don't see going away, right? Because that's exactly what he was. Stafford was, right? 602 or something like that.
This is a pass first team. It has it's been for a long time.
Yeah. And because even though they utilize the running back, because they use them in the passing game too. So that's why it's always, you know what I mean? It's always been it's always been pretty even keel. And they do both in same game flow situations. Like, you know what I mean? Just because they're getting blown out didn't necessarily mean, they're going to abandon the run. And sometimes if they're winning, didn't mean they're necessarily going to stop throwing the ball. You know what I mean? So this is why I love Sean McVay for fantasy. So, and like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp with Jared Goff for years, you can start both those motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, why is this not the same thing? You know what I mean? This is but better. I would say this is better. And like, you might even still bring back OBJ, where like now you'll have and that maybe, you know,
I hope they don't bring back OBJ because
I hope they don't,
because I got a bunch of Van Jefferson and I like him being the number 3 over there.
You know why? Because remember that one time I was like, there was like a 2-week period where I was beating the Van Jefferson drum. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then like you're just like, man, let me look at his numbers. Let me just see what the fuck you're talking about. And because it was so low key for someone to get like 70 receptions or whatever and fucking
Let me read it off again.
Yeah.
So it was 50 receptions, but for 800 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah. Oh, you think he had 70 targets? That's what that was.
And 89.
89. Oh, okay. What's 89 minus 20, by the way?
Oh, it is
69, dude.
Yes. Gotta make sure our math is right.
And David P said it's crazy hot here. Ron, how hot is it over there, Crispy? Because when I got home after my little my little run for supplies, it was 118 degrees outside.
That's definitely
Like it's so fucking hot that like my AC is fighting just to keep it cool, like inside the car.
damn. I mean, that's like, let's keep the car running.
I literally went into the smoke shop where I went to and left the car running just because it was like just right outside the door and I knew no one was really around or anything. But yeah, that was my last
I'm not
stop.
doing that. I hit the fucked up lottery too much. Where there won't be a soul in sight in the moment I walk in that motherfucker. Someone off the roof or something. Someone was watching me from the roof and they scaled down on a rope even, you know what I mean? And they jump in the car and they're gone. It's too late.
And the Strangler says Robinson is better than Robert Woods. Couple still finish as a top 3 wide receiver. Safe pick. Robinson could be a sneaky number 2. I mean, I think that Robinson is good as the best number
sneaky.
2.
I think it's sneaky to people that like think they don't remember Robinson because recency bias is a motherfucker. People just
He's the best number 2 on any team, right? I think it's between him and T. Higgins as the best number 2.
Yeah, and then like. You know, no one's taking 3 away from like maybe Thielen. If he plays all year long, like Thielen's a double-digit touchdown motherfucker. You know what I mean? But there really is no. I mean, maybe Ayuk. If Lance can be a guy who can stretch the field super tough, like we all expect, you know, that's going to open up more plays for someone like an Ayuk. You know what I mean? And like, because then I would argue like. We have one of the best duos too. It's just that people won't agree. Maybe if they look at talent wise, but like people are going to look at numbers all the time first, and that's why everyone's sleeping on Allen Robinson because they're going to look at it last year. Oh, he didn't do shit. He was hurt all year. He was making business decisions. He was like, listen, let's just tell him I have an ankle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was like, fuck that, I ain't playing for this fucking team. You know what I mean? He ain't talking to nobody. Everyone was saying, "Oh, Darnell Mooney, he kicks it off the field with Fields," and it's like, yeah, because you know why? Allen Robinson already didn't cut ties with her. He already emotionally detached himself from everything. You know what I mean?
Mr. Webb throwing out the super chat. Good looking. He said you blinked 5 times in 10 seconds, 1 minute per blink. I like it. Ever since
I love the analytics.
Ever since I was talking shit about the kid in Surf Ninjas who couldn't stop blinking.
Hey, it's funny too, because sometimes like when I be shrooming, I just be having my eyes closed behind the glasses. I just sit there just like,
I get super high and I blink a lot. I guess that's what's happening. And now that I'm thinking about it,
you're never gonna stop. Just close your eyes.
But yeah, I mean, come on, man. I mean, Allen Robinson with his 410 yards last year, you know, obviously that's bullshit. But come on, we're talking about in 2020 and 2019. I mean, 2020. 1250, 102 receptions, 6 touchdowns. Year before that, 1147, 98 receptions, 7 touchdowns. I mean, that's with Mitch Trubisky. So everyone who's hating on Deontay Johnson and Mitch Trubisky, I mean, that's kind of what could be possible.
Fucking Blake the Snake, bruh. Shout out to Blake the GOAT, even. Blake Bortles, bruh. Yeah. The fantasy championship GOAT.
And Mr. Webb with the super chat, good looking. He said, I can't tell. The other guy's wearing glasses. He could be blinking. He could be blinking a mile a minute right now for all
I just blinked so much that the glasses almost popped off.
But, well, that's what's crazy. Okay, so I'm glad that I looked at Allen Robinson's numbers because I kind of forgot. Not saying Deontay Johnson is Allen Robinson, but 150 targets in each of those years. Deontay Johnson, I mean, let's go see what his target numbers we're looking like, and obviously things could change, but
Trubisky.
Yeah, but now you take away Juju.
You mean you're not as worried with Trubisky as you thought you should be with Deontay, is what you're saying?
Right, because if Deontay Johnson's going to be leading the team in targets, which I assume, I mean, either him or Chase Claypool, now that Juju's gone, he had 169 targets last year.
69, dude.
Yeah.
And then 144 the year before. I think he can stay around the 150 range as much as they're going to be throwing it. Like, it's not like they're not going to be throwing it.
See, and this is that type of shit that we're going to be breaking all type of shit down like this specifically on receivers because it is receiver week. You know what I'm saying? And continuing it on the Playmaker show tonight, 6:30 p.m. West Coast time. Tap in. We're going live, taking y'all to Wide Receiver University. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it.
Okay.
And on that note, let's get the hell up out of here. We'll see you in like 2.5 hours? Are we talking about here? Something like that.
We ran this thing long. Pause.
Yep. All right. We're out. We'll see you later tonight. Peace.
As I make my way, the fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to wait. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Put your life together.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side.